Hey guys, this isn't really a video I wanted to make, but recently I felt it's more and more necessary to do so. So I'm going to try and get through it as easily as possible, but it is a little bit upsetting. So many of you know, YouTube hasn't been the best platform for particularly small creators for a while now. They seem to be doing everything possible to make sure that people who aren't Jake Paul or I don't know, huge creators on other platforms that they don't succeed, and then their recipe for success changes. Probably, I think it's every 6 months. Well, I know the Google algorithm changes every 6 months, but I think the YouTube one probably does as well, from what I've seen at least. And it seems that every time it does change, it's doing that everything it can possibly to make sure small creators don't succeed at all. Now, paired with my analytics and more than a few comments that I've received from people saying things like, "Welcome back, I haven't seen you in ages." It's like, yeah, I've been here the entire time. I haven't left anywhere, but the fact that you think I'd left for, what, presumably 6 months or so, says a lot about what's going on, really, doesn't it? In this video, I'll be sharing some of my analysis, stuff like that, so we can go through it. So if you want to hang on, I'd really appreciate it. Now, for the long time, my new content isn't getting hardly seen at all, or any views and stuff like that, which is a problem. Because if I want to continue making videos, then my new videos have to be seen. Otherwise, there's not really much point, is there? We're talking not too long ago, just before my surgery. No video getting less than 1,000 views, down to a video getting 40. Now, whether or not that's people that aren't interested anymore, or if it's people that aren't seeing my videos, well, that's another story. But well, there's some evidence to show that perhaps my my channel is just not being shown at all. Now, I have a separate account which I use on a different IP address, completely separate from this one. I set it up specifically for this purpose, and it's only subbed to me, and it watches only my videos. So essentially, the interest is surely only for Gaming with Jollins. Yet even that channel doesn't get recommendations for my channel when I go live, or for if you go to the home tab, it doesn't show my videos, which is very worrying if you ask me. So to talk you through what we're seeing here on screen, essentially this is like the start of my channel. This is where I kind of started growing. As you can see, there's some fairly steady growth going up, and then there was this big old spike, which apparently a lot of people had at the time. But YouTube said, nah, enough of that. They changed the algorithm at that point, which kind of reset the channel back down to where it was on par before. But I wasn't too bummed out about it. It was nice to kind of have that little bit of spike. But as you can see, there's some extra steady growth going up and going up and going up. And as here is when I had my surgery and I stopped making videos. And as you can see, all goes down, 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 down. And as you can see, this is just after my surgery. There was some, you can see like the up and down, up and down, up and down. It's very unstable, very turbulent. And then YouTube changes the algorithm again, and bang, down again. And then we've got nothing but downwards, downwards, downwards. It just keeps going down, and then like there is essentially no bounce back anymore. And this is the longest it stays stale in a very long time. We can see here, like similar behavior, but even then we can see it starting to climb up a little bit. And like when the channel was new, it was going up and down all over the place, but here it's just nothing at all, absolutely nothing at all. But as you can see, the subscribers gained and lost tell quite a different story, to be honest with you. You can still see the peaks, like you can see the peak here, you can see the peak here, and the peak here. But everything else is just quite sporadic. We see a dip here, and it never really recovers. But it's, I don't know, it doesn't seem that varied. It's all been pretty much the same. I mean, growth, subscriber growth at least, has stayed pretty much on the level. And there's a reason for that. And that's because most of my subscribers come from my older videos, which are less affected by the changes than the new ones. Although they have still dropped considerably, but yeah. Now this I did find very interesting, is comments and interaction. And as you can see, there's hardly any at all, with the few exceptions for when there were spikes in activity. So as you can see, this was a big, huge spike. I mean, like, there wasn't even that many comments, to be honest with you. This is the more characteristic one, and this one here. But apart from that, everything else is like nothing really. I mean, there were days where there were like 0 comments at all, 1 or 2, and this seems to be quite indicative of the channel as a whole, really. And this is the final point I wanted to touch on, because it's a source of great frustration for me, and that YouTube really puts an emphasis on your average view duration and how much time people are actually spending watching your videos. Now, as you can see, when I first started off, we're looking at about 3 minutes, like 4 minutes average view duration per video, and as we see, that climbs up, and that's where we get that spike, and then we continue to see some growth there. This is just before my surgery. As it starts to climb down, it's still a great deal higher than when I first got that initial growth. So I mean, that isn't too surprising, but we're looking at the average view duration now of about 5 minutes from the top of my screen. 5 minutes all included, but if I suppose if we cut down the last few months or something like that, it's probably going to be a bit higher than that. So this stat here doesn't really demonstrate why there should be such I guess why we're seeing what we're seeing, which is very frustrating. I don't know what happened. I seem to have pissed someone off at YouTube, maybe. But it's a bit of a pain in the ass, if you ask me. Now, I feel at this point, if I'm going to continue to do this, there needs to be some sort of... there needs to be something, okay? I've never been one for saying, oh, it needs to get 1 million views or 1,000 likes and stuff like that. I haven't really cared so much for massive growth and stuff, but there needs to be something there. There needs to be some growth, even if it's an extra view per video. There has to be something making me do this, otherwise kind of I'm doing it for no one. And it's not just the views, but also the interaction. I mean, I'm tired of making videos that get, I mean we're talking about a video that gets 250,000 views, one of my old ones, and gets like 3 comments from people that are positive. I mean, like, what the fuck is the point at that point, you know? So in the last year alone, I've had 14.5 years worth of content watched. So that means for every minute that passes, almost 15 minutes of my channel have been watched. Now that, to me, that's fucking mind-blowing, really. I never really considered that, so like someone like myself would have those kind of numbers, and yet that has almost zero impact on anything. That means nothing to YouTube. I mean, it boggles my mind what these top content creators, the kind of numbers they get. It must be literally insane to just look at that screen. Now, my channel was actually going upwards. I was getting lots of views, lots of interactions. I mean, things were looking really well, and then my surgery happened. I had my brain surgery, and because I didn't post content for a couple of months, that was it. My channel was dead to YouTube. And despite me coming back and making more content, it didn't seem to really matter, because it just kept going down and down and down, and now it's got to a point where it's just completely evened off, and it seems like there's almost 0 recommended at all. Now, in order for me to continue making videos, there has to be something. I mean, there has to be some sort of turnaround, because I can't keep doing this. It's ridiculous. I mean, you've seen the numbers now. I mean, I'm looking at spending hours and hours and hours producing content. I mean, I only have 2 hours a day to myself with my daughter and all my other responsibilities and stuff like that. I mean, that's time that I usually spend on YouTube, but this could be time that I spend on doing other things. I mean, at the end of the day, if I'm getting nowhere with YouTube, I don't see why I should continue spending all my free time doing it. So it ultimately falls down to you guys. If you want to see this channel succeed, then I need to see that interaction. I need to see those views. I need to see that watch time. And if you don't want to see it succeed, then be on your merry way, I guess. But there has to be some sort of action. I mean, I'm kind of tired of trying to do this all by myself. I need someone. I need the audience that is watching my videos day to day to maybe try and help us succeed together, because that would be ideal. That would be the best solution, wouldn't it? And with that comes a sense of ownership, I guess. If you're willing to help out, then obviously you need to get something back in return. So I'm more than happy to produce the content that you guys want to see, but I also need to be able to produce content that I want to be able to do. I mean, there's only so many videos that I can do to cater to the largest numbers. I mean, at the end of the day, if the amount of times I've been asked to play Fortnite, that's a good one. But the thing is, I was playing Fortnite long before it was popular, and yet I didn't get the kind of numbers that these other guys are getting. And I don't want to kind of pick it up now, because it just seemed like all I'm doing is copying other people. It's like, I played it, I enjoyed it, I moved on. I'm not going to go back and just play Fortnite for the sake of playing Fortnite, you know? And it goes for a lot of games, in fact. I mean, I have that content out there, I have that available. I've done the live streams, but we need to. We can't just keep playing the same game over and over and again, because at the end of the day, that's not what I've never been about that, and it's never been where this channel's going. And it's something that people appreciated back in the day, and I want to know if people are still going to appreciate that, whether or not we just need to call it a day. But here's me putting the cards on the table, I guess. I mean, I never wanted to give up on YouTube. I really enjoy doing it, but it's quite frankly very depressing to see everything sabotaged so dramatically, constantly. But it's I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one, and I don't really know what to say. But at the end of the day, I'm stuck. If you guys are willing to help out, I'd love you for that. But otherwise, if there's nobody willing to help out, then who am I doing this for anyway? I'm going to keep making videos for another couple of weeks, and if we don't see any turnaround, I'll do another video like this saying, I guess, goodbye. Or I'm not really sure. I don't know whether or not we can kind of say goodbye to Gaming with Jollins, start something else from the ground up with only people that are interested, and maybe leave some of the baggage behind. That's not something I'd want to do, but it you know, at the end of the day, with all the negativity that YouTube has placed down on this channel, and from the analytics and stuff like that, it might be the only option. But I'm hoping there is something that can come out of this, whether or not we can rescue this channel, or whether or not we've got a plan to go forward. I enjoy live streaming, but I couldn't be a live streamer. That's the thing. I mean, I always enjoyed the live streaming as part of my main channel, because it's something I can dip into a couple of times a week or something, you know, for a couple of hours. But in order to be you know, successful on like Twitch or YouTube gaming and stuff like that, you have to be able to dedicate that time, like 5-6 days a week, all day, and that's not something that I can do. So it's not something I want to do, to be honest with you, because you're turning something you love and you have a passion for into something that you're just beating to death, like you're beating a dead horse to death. And it's just like, I get it, some people, that's what they want to do, and that's all the joy to them, you know, all the success. But it's not something I can personally do. But with that, thanks for watching. If you watched it through to the end, I appreciate the watch time. And ciao.